Hi guys, so today I'm going to be showing you guys how to create a board within Jira. So let's get straight into it. I'm going to go to a project where I want to create a board. I've already got a board on there. I'm going to go to backlog, and where my mouse is, where there's the three dots at the top, I'm going to go to create board. And in here, you've got a choice of creating a Kanban board or a Scrum board. So it depends on your team and whether your team would like to be using the Scrum framework or the Kanban framework. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a Scrum board. It's going to give me three choices here. Board created with new software project, board from an existing project, or board from a existing saved filter. Now, the filter would already contain information so that all your Jira items can show up on that board. If there is a filter that you would like to use, if you've got an existing filter, and I will make a video for that as well. Filters are really helpful. If you imagine Jira being a massive database, and all you need is the items that your squad or your team's working on, then filters are the way to sort of, get rid of all the clutter and show you only the work that's relevant to you or your team. And that's why filters are super helpful. And you can use them, you can basically create them using the JQL, which is the Jira query language for databases. New software project, and that's what I'm going to go for, because I'm going to assume that we're doing software development here. So I'm just going to give it a name, and I'm just going to go ahead and say call it test 1, create the board, et voila. Okay, so I'm going to go back. So basically, I've created a brand new board and I've called it test 1. And in here, I'm going to go back to board, and I'm going to go to board settings this time. So here you can start adding the columns for your active sprint. And so that depends on your team's process. So a design team might be different to a development team, to a marketing team, etc. Ideally, you'd have a cross-functional team and they would all be working together, but that's not usually the case. A lot of the time you've got people that work very differently and in their own silos, unfortunately. But let's assume this one is this one is just basically a standard software development team. And I'm going to start adding columns. So in the columns, you've got different statuses. The blue are things that are in progress. The grays are, like if it's an analysis, if it still needs information, etc. So that's the grays, that's the to-dos. And done or cancelled or complete are green. So I'm going to go ahead and create, say, a design. And it knows that it's going to be in process. So I'm going to add that, and it's put it there. So I'm just going to move that to here, and I'm going to change this from in progress to something. Oh, by the way, it also added the status automatically, which is quite helpful. I'm gonna add, say, another column, and here I'm just going to say testing. And I'm going to add that there. So usually you would be testing just before you review it and then before done. So I'm going to add a review column, and review is also in progress. So if it's in review, it's still in progress. So you see I've got these blue items in the middle, and this is all things that are being worked on, progressing, etc. You can also add statuses and assign them to, say, in to do, you might want to have people analyzing. Oh, okay, so it does give me the option of in analysis, and I'm going to go ahead and add that, it sort of shows it to me on the right hand side where it says the status not containing any issues. So I'm going to go ahead and drag that into the to-do column, because you might have, say, the product owner working with an analyst to make sure that there's enough information in that ticket, in that user story, in that in that epic, whatever it is, and that means that it's still being worked on. It's not ready. It's not met the definition of ready for it to go into the active sprint. Yeah. So what else can we do here? We can do an issue count. We can have an issue count that counts the number of user stories or tasks within each column. And you can exclude the subtasks. You can just say, I want to just see user stories. I don't want to see the subtasks, because imagine if you're working in a medium to large team, you might have tons of user stories and quite a lot of subtasks within each of those user stories. It would clog up your board quite quickly. I'm just going to leave it as none. I'm going to show you something around the swim lanes. So swim lanes is something that I'm not very keen on, because especially if it's assigned by, especially if it's by assignees, and that means that we're working in our own silos. But some types of work do need that. They need that. Their type of work is quite siloed. Say in manufacturing, for example. Whereas in software development, it's usually, people hopefully work collaboratively on a bit of work together, whether, design, development, software engineers, QAs, etc. So, but just to show you, you can also sort of have swim lanes by stories, by epics, etc. So I'm just going to go back to queries, and here you can start adding things like filters. So these are quick filters to add to your to the top of your board, and there you can sort of say, I want to filter by, I don't know if you're delivering in gateways or if you're delivering in releases. You might want to add that. But I'll do a separate video on that one. You've got card colors. You can sort of show them by priorities, by assignee, etc. I think for now, I'm just going to leave it there. There are your quick filters. You've already got some already existing ones, like only show my issues, and assignee equals current user. So whoever's logged in, that will just see their work there. And recently updated, so the work that's been updated more recently. So say somebody's put a comment on one of the items, you can just filter by that. Okay, so you've got working days, so hopefully just normal working days, and you can you can add items here. Estimation, so traditionally, you would do it by, say, time estimate. But if you're working in an agile environment, hopefully you would be using user stories. Okay, so I'll leave it there. In general, you've got the board name, you've got the administrator name, so you can add other people onto here. I don't really have anyone to add because this is my private Jira. But yeah, if you were part of a team, then you would just add other users there. And you can also edit the filter query here. So in the filter query, you can look at any open issues. You can look at the completed issues, what's been viewed recently, etc. But I'll get into this in a bit more detail because this is a really powerful tool here, and it needs its own video. Okay, so if I go to project, I'll go into my project, and here you can see from the top menu, I've gone into the new project that we created, and it took me straight to the active sprints. You can see here, I've got all the columns that I've just added and shown, and these are the quick filters up here, the ones that are pre-built. If you go into the backlog, you can see any epics here. You can create new epics in this area here, and you can start adding your user stories at the bottom. You can, depending on what sort of what work items you've uploaded or requested, then you usually would have story, task, and bug, but you can also add other issue types in Jira. The active sprint takes you to there. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope that you found this useful, and I'm hoping to upload some new videos later on to give you a bit more knowledge around Jira. Cheers.